Wednesday, December 17th, 25 Board of Commissioners meeting to order. If we all rise for invocation and pledge of allegiance. Commissioner Hanson, would you give the invocation, please?
Our precious Heavenly Father, we come to you with thanksgiving and praise, Lord. We just thank you for this Christmas season that you sent your Son, Jesus Christ, to be born, die on a cross, and rose again on Easter. And Father, we just ask that each of us look into our hearts at this time and realize where our hopes and our fears come from, and the fears are from our enemy, Lord. And Father, we pray that you'll just be with us tonight in our meeting, that you will guide us, give us wisdom and discernment in the different things that for the county. And we praise you and give you glory. And we ask it in thy name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, would you do the roll call, please?
Commissioner Shaver. Present. Commissioner Arndt.
Present.
Commissioner Peak.
Here.
Commissioner Haskell.
Here.
Commissioner Pearl Wright. Here. Commissioner Whitaker.
Here.
Commissioner Moudry.
Here.
Commissioner Jones.
Here.
Commissioner Drosha.
Here.
Commissioner Toomey.
Here.
Commissioner Hanson.
Here.
Commissioner Christensen.
Present.
Commissioner Holmes.
Here.
Commissioner Barber. Chairman Mott.
Here. Are there any changes or additions to the agenda?
There are none.
All right, do I have a motion to
Move the
approve?
agenda.
Moved by Commissioner Drosha, supported by Commissioner Haskell. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have the minutes.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to request an amendment so that I can correct the minutes to reflect Commissioner Drosha as the chair of last month's meeting. I apologize.
Okay,
Move the agenda as amended, or I'm sorry, the minutes as amended.
okay. Moved by Commissioner Toomey, supported by Commissioner Pearl Wright. That didn't want to take away the Commissioner Drosha's, time in the limelight there. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. All right, next up, we have some communications. We have a letter from Eaton Township in reference to planning and zoning. We have an E-Train communication in reference to the new routes. A letter from the Coalition Against Bigger Trucks from Ingham County. We have a resolution from, or referencing data centers. And then we have the county clerk's annual report in there, and the Register of Deeds annual report. Are you going to speak on the annual reports, or we just announce?
I'll just note that there was an increase in revenues in the county clerk's office when I compared it to last year.
Okay. All right, wonderful.
I have a question. So, Clerk Bosworth, where did the increase come from?
CPLs and just the general clerk services in general, and it probably is certified copies.
Okay, thank you.
All right, next up, we have retirement recognition resolutions. Getting tongue-tied tonight. Do I have a motion to approve the recognitions? Moved by Commissioner Arndt,
Support.
support by Commissioner Shaver. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. First up, I'm not sure who's here. Craig Morehouse. Oh, okay, good. Meet me at the podium. All right, Eaton County Board of Commissioners. Resolution of appreciation for Craig Morehouse, Sheriff's Office, December 17th, 2025. Whereas Craig Morehouse will be retiring from Eaton County on December 18th, 2025. And whereas Craig worked in the Sheriff's Office as a cook from December 18th, 2000, and then as Corrections Deputy from May 5th, 2003, and is retiring with 25 years of service. And whereas Craig has provided dedicated and honorable service to the residents and employees of Eaton County, and whereas the Eaton County Board of Commissioners seeks to recognize and express appreciation for Craig's years of public service. Now therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners expresses its sincere gratitude for the years of exceptional service Craig provided to Eaton County, and be it further resolved that this resolution of appreciation and support be duly recorded and attached to the permanent records of the county on this 17th day of the month of December in the year 2025. Thank you very much for your service.
Thank you, sir.
You'd like to say a few words?
I just want to say thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. Glad I could serve this county. Thank you.
If I could just add a couple of words. There's really not a couple of words that I can say that quickly how much Deputy Morehouse has meant to us at the Eaton County Sheriff's Office. His dedication to duty is unmatched. We could always count on Craig anytime we needed something to be done, and actually, he would put out the fires over here, different things that he encountered at the courts. He would solve problems and resolve things before it ever got to the sheriff or I. And he personifies and exemplifies everything that we could ask for in a deputy sheriff serving in our corrections division. And to Craig's family, we're thankful that you loaned him to us, that you allowed him to work with us. And I know he's probably missed a lot of family activities and things because he worked overtime and volunteered for overtime or had to stay after work. And Craig will be very, very much missed, and we're so appreciative of all you've done for the Eaton County Sheriff's Office and for the citizens of Eaton County.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Also, we have another resolution, and this goes out to Ron Lester, and Ron couldn't be with us tonight, but I like to read these anyway because I think they're due. They've spent a lot of years here and service of the county, and I'd just like to read his resolution. So, Eaton County Board of Commissioners, December 17th, 2025. Resolution of appreciation for Ron Lester. Whereas Ron Lester will be retiring from the Eaton County Remonumentation Program on December 31st, 2025. And whereas Ron worked as the Eaton County Remonumentation Grant Representative since the program's inception in January 1990, and is retiring with 35 years of service. And whereas Ron has provided dedicated and honorable service to the residents and employees of Eaton County. And whereas the Eaton County Board of Commissioners seeks to recognize and express appreciation for Ron's years of public service. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners expresses its sincere gratitude for the years of exceptional service Ron provided to Eaton County. And be it further resolved that this resolution of appreciation and support be duly recorded and attached to the permanent records of the county on the 17th day of the month of December in the year 2025. So thank you, Ron. Did you want to clap?
I was ready.
All right, next we have limited public comment. If you'd like to address the board, please approach the podium and please limit it to 3 minutes.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Kimberly Kenyon. I'm an Eaton County resident, member of the Maple Valley School Board, and also a council trustee to the Village of Vermontville. This evening, I am representing the school board and reading a proclamation that we adopted at our regular board meeting on December 8th in regards to a school resource officer. I'm joined here this evening by fellow board members, council trustees, and our superintendent. So as I said, at the December 8th, 2025 board meeting, we have recommended the adoption, and we did adopt this resolution from the Board of Education, Maple Valley School District, regarding concerns with the delay of providing responsive and sustainable school resource officer solutions and the need for collaborative cross-jurisdictional partnerships. Whereas the Maple Valley School District spans the two counties of Berry and Eaton, creating a unique jurisdictional complexities that require established collaborative agreements to ensure timely emergency response and consistent safety services across all district facilities. And whereas the district has engaged in ongoing discussions with the Eaton County Sheriff's Office since May of 2025 in an effort to identify a responsive, sustainable, and long-term school resource officer solution, and whereas the district has experienced significant challenges due to the delayed provision and proposed SRO plan, delivered 7 months after the initial request, which has hindered the district's ability to plan effectively for student and safety staff. And whereas the state funding intended to support school safety will arrive late in the budget of FY26, and fiscal year for anybody that doesn't know what that means, is inconsistent from year to year, making it essential for the district to pursue an SRO model that is both cost-effective and sustainable. And whereas the proposal submitted by the Eaton County Sheriff's Office, while appreciated, does not represent the financial feasibility option for long-term implementation within the district's budget constraints. And whereas the district's proposed partnership with the Village of Nashville Police Force has actively pursued SRO qualifications, including completion of a 2-day foundational SRO training and commitment to completing the full 6-course series through the Michigan Virtual Developed in partnership with the Michigan State Police. And whereas all officers within the proposed partner police force of the Village of Nashville maintain current MCOL certification, meeting the eligibility criteria for Section 31AA school safety funding. And whereas given the planned training for the district's proposed partner police department of the Village of Nashville and their willingness to serve in a limited capacity SR role, the possibility of deputizing officers for the neighboring county represents a reasonable and cooperative option that could extend as a professional courtesy. And whereas the district believes that any conditions placed on a mutual aid agreement may be reasonably limited to school district's property alone rather than the entirety of the county, and thereby ensuring clarity of roles and responsibilities while respecting jurisdictional boundaries. And whereas the board affirms that student welfare must remain at the highest priority, invoking the cooperation, flexibility, shared commitment of law enforcement entities, and encouraging open collaboration rather than restrictive practices that limit effective partnership. And whereas the geographic distribution of the district's school necessities rapid response times, making timely and efficient enforcement coverage essential to student staff safety. Now, therefore, let it be resolved that the Board of Education expresses its concern regarding the significant delay in receiving a timely, sustainable school resource officer proposal from the Eaton County Sheriff's Office. The board acknowledges the
Excuse me.
importance of interaction.
We're going to need to wrap it up soon if you can, please.
I got 3 more items, if that's okay, sir. The board acknowledges the importance of interagency cooperation, particularly given that the district's unique position across multiple jurisdictions, and reaffirms necessity of developing practical, timely, and coordinated solutions. The board urges the Eaton County Board of Commissioners and the Eaton County Sheriff's Office to prioritize the development of equitable, responsive, and financially sustainable safety options that support the needs of all students and staff within the district. The board affirms its responsibility to select a SRO solution that is timely, financially, and responsible, and aligned with the state training and certification requirements, including those under Section 31AA. And lastly, the board encourages Eaton County leadership and the Eaton County Sheriff's Office to support mechanisms such as limited proposed deputizing and school district-specific mutual aid agreements that facilitate cross-jurisdictional cooperation in support of student safety.
Thank you. Is there anyone else?
Hi, my name is Jody Pruden, and before I go any farther, I just want to make sure everybody can hear me. What's that? Okay, good. So I've been talking to you since back in May, and I went through a huge process trying to get through to code enforcement to find out what was actually rules and weren't rules, and also encouraged you not to go ahead with the new code enforcement fees that were proposed. You did that before I got a chance to actually explain everything that had gone on. And there's some awkward things in there that I hope are still being looked at. I know that we do have a meeting finally set up, which I appreciate after all these months. However, I just want to say that I think that the ways that have been going on with the ordinances being changed for certain areas, I believe that code enforcement is next. And I just want to say, with the amount of money that they have available to them, and they raised the prices for the amounts that they did, some people would call that extortion, but that is price gouging. The government, the state and federal government get into issues with that with some places, and I would like to say that I believe that is what is going on here, and I still would like to see that reevaluated. Thank you.
Is there anyone else?
Name's Craig Blackshed, Eaton County resident for many years. I'm here just as a school board member and a resident, and just not to take your time up for what we just read off, but there was a correction I want to make for the last meeting you had. I reviewed your minutes and what was vocal between the sheriff and some of you people, and we have looked at alternative routes. We're very in-depth of trying to find alternative, being retired deputies, whatever. We're into it, and we know other districts are doing some other things besides. So I just wanted to correct that we are actively, and then I hope this is not a political thing, truthfully. And thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Larry Mead. I'm Roxanne Township Supervisor. I'm 83 years old and lived on the same farm all my life, and so I'm really into farming. But what I really want to come here tonight, not for the zoning, we're moving ahead, we're going to do our own, and but what I'm really concerned about is the 4-H end of it. I was on the fair board for 18 years, and I've worked with a lot of kids. I know a lot of them have been on to be teachers and teaching other kids and going on, and it's a shame that that's going to all come to an end. I get kids come up to me today, and I shouldn't say kids. Adults come up to me today, do you remember me? I showed hogs or I showed cattle. And it's really heartwarming to do that. It's one of the high points of my life to have these kids that think that much of me. So that's who I'm speaking for, is the kids that can't be here to talk. So thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? All right, seeing none, we'll move on then. Next up, we have the Treasurer's Report. Treasurer Raynette.
Good evening, Commissioners. Darius Raynette, Eaton County Treasurer. For the bond issue, the only thing I have for that is just the regular renewal for the annual performance bond, which covers county employees. That's in your packet. The other item that I want to talk about is the foreclosure update. I spoke of that during the Ways and Means. I'll give it an abbreviated summary. Back in 2020, there was a landmark legal case, Raphael versus Oakland County, which said that if you lost your property in foreclosure sale, that you had the right to claim the proceeds. And after that, and the following year, there was legislation that was passed. And now, if someone loses their home in foreclosure, there is a set procedure to claim any proceeds after the delinquent taxes are paid. So from 2021 going forward, we have that taken care of. There's a process. And in fact, when I started here, I saw claims submitted for 2024 auction, and then also for the ones we had for September and October just a few months ago. So, but however, there is a certain amount of claims called the pre-Raphael claims, therefore proceeds that are prior to 2021. In Eaton County's case, it's 2016 through 2019. And Eaton County, along with several other counties in Michigan, mid-Michigan and the western part of the state, are part of a class action lawsuit known as the Wayside Church. And the administrator for that class action is getting ready to begin paying claims. And I have an estimated amount that we could pay out of. And at this point, I want to make it clear, this does not affect the general fund. These would be paid out of the foreclosure fund, which is currently at approximately $2 million. Our estimated pre-Raphael claims are $1.3 million. So subtract out 1.3 from 2 million gives us approximately $700,000. Again, that's out of the foreclosure fund, and it does not directly impact the general fund. The foreclosure fund is used to pay the foreclosure specialist. Also, it covers maintenance costs on the properties that are foreclosed. We have to mow them and board them up and keep them secure. There is another lawsuit or pending court case that could impact the foreclosure fund. This is Pung versus Isabella County, and what's significant about that is that is going to be heard by the U.S. Supreme Court next year, with a decision following probably in April or May, possibly June. The significance of that decision is that when it comes to determining proceeds, the plaintiff argues that the fair market value of the property should be used for that rather than the price that it sold at auction. An example, in this case, there was a property that sold for $76,000 for a $2,000 fine. There's proceeds left over as $74,000. If they were to use the assessed value of $194,000, they'd have a return of proceeds of $192,000. And this is retroactive. So this would cause a lot of problems, or be catastrophic as far as the term of our liability. The $1.3 million that I mentioned before, that balloons up to $4 million. And this affects not only the locals, units of government in Eaton County and the county itself, but all throughout Michigan. So I want to kind of preference that everyone throughout Michigan, all the county governments, recognize that because of the gravity of this decision, even though there's no action on what would be taken, it's almost a given that something would have to come in to alleviate the situation, whether the state steps in or another entity, because it would make it impossible to collect property taxes. There'd just be too much incentive to not pay and then collect a large settlement afterwards. I will continue to provide updates on both the payouts and any pertinent developments in the court cases as I get them. Is there any questions for me?
Commissioner Haskell.
Thank you, Treasurer. I know you gave the same update during Ways and Means, and I appreciate how thorough you've been with that. I am curious if, I think it was back in 2013 or 2014, we became an
2016.
An FGU? Okay, so 2016. If we were not, if we no longer that, could we cede that back to the state, and would that remove our liability?
I don't think it would remove the liability, because we were in in that business for that period of time, but that's what a lot of county treasurers have kind of remarked about that. So that's one possible.
Yeah, and I think unfortunately, when we do that, we lose the ability to have a land bank, correct? I think that's one of the reasons why we wanted to become an FGU, was to be able to do
I'm not
the,
sure about that point. Yeah, I'll have to research that, yeah.
okay, thank you.
Any other questions, Treasurer? None? All right,
All right, thank you very much.
thank you. Next up, we have the committee reports and resolutions. First up is Public Works and Human Services Committee with Commissioner Barber.
Thank you very much, Chair. We met on December 3rd. The Public Works and Health and Human Services Committee did. I have 4 items for tonight. The first one is the Public Works and Health and Human Services Committee appointment recommendations. They were in your packet. I move those recommendations.
Moved by Commissioner Barber, supported by?
Support.
Supported by Commissioner Christensen. Any questions, comments? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, so the second thing is a resolution of the annual review of the Human Services Collaborative Council. I move.
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Barber, supported by Commissioner Pearl Wright. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
All right, number 3, I got the County Planning Commission recommendation for the approval of the request for change in land use classification from limited ag and local business to general business on the property at 11994 West Grand Ledge Highway in Sunfield Township. I move.
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Barber, supported by Commissioner Shaver. Any questions, comments? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
All right, number 4 is the resolution to repeal the Eaton County Land Development Code in its entirety as of 31 May 2026. I move.
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Barber, supported by Commissioner Christensen. All right, for the comment section, I got an update. I had a meeting with Jason Ball, I think it was last Thursday, with myself, staff, and supervisor from Walton Township, Doug Thering, and supervisor from Chester Township, Justin Vetter. And we had a lengthy meeting, I think it was a little over 2 hours, but so we talked about kind of the process, was trying to get it rolling and things that were going to need to take place. And one of the topics was the discussion of this length of time that we are going to do away with the ordinance. And so for those of you who don't know, Jason Ball is the guy who helps us with our master plan when it comes time to update. And so we have the opportunity now to allow him, using funds that we have that we're going to use until June 30th for him, for the townships. The motion was made to end the ordinance May 31st. So in our conversation, I asked Jason, how much time do you think you need? Are you going to need the full amount? And he said, yeah, we're going to need every bit of time we can get. So during that conversation, I decided that I'm going to make a motion to amend this resolution to go so it coincides with the end date of our funding of June 30th.
Support.
Support that.
Okay, so I moved it, supported by Commissioner Pearl Wright. Is there any more conversation about this? Commissioner Barber? I mean, Commissioner
You
Rocha.
can wait for mine.
Yeah, I was looking at you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We'll talk about that later. I would like if the Controller's Office would please, Connie or whomever, would explain where this revenue for that extension will come from, just so everybody understands. that there's the possibility that that funding could run out prior to that end date.
Okay, so we'll vote on the amendment, or we're in communications for the amendment part of it, so.
Okay. So the funding for this, number one, the extension of Mr. Ball's services would be through a grant that's provided through MISTA, so the state of Michigan. We are in the process right now, based on the information that Mr. Ball provided us, contacting MISTA. Not always easy to get a hold of state of Michigan, but we are working on that, and hopefully we'll hear back soon. It does look like the extended use and change of scope of work would be allowed under MISTA, so we'd be able to use that funding. That funding is only going to be to deal with the update to the master plan and potentially some training that would go to the locals, right, to give them the support. The other portion of extending services through May 31st, or if it was June 30, is coming from revenue that we've already received this year because there was an influx of a lot of applications that totaled about $24,000. That $24,000 combined with an additional $24,000 that will come in revenue, and that's projected using the numbers from last year. Now, it could go up with people wanting to get things done when it's under county planning and zoning, or it could level out, but we anticipate that the projections we did are good. So that covers the staff time to carry us through that time period that we're discussing. In the event that there were some anomaly with that, and I know I mentioned this before, there is funding in our master plan fund. It's a separate fund that the county is, because we're required to do a master plan, that the county has to fund, and we've done so every year by putting in $6,000 of a general fund contribution. That fund right now totals $73,000. The $6,000 from this year has not been deposited yet, so I'm giving you last year's 9/30 balance. So there'll be an additional $6,000 because we kept that in the budget, given the fact that the anticipation was to contract and the responsibility would fall on the county to maintain that fund until we dealt with the revenue and structure of contracting for services. So there is funding. It is not going to create a general fund need, no contribution from the general fund. The remainder of that fund is, when it's left, the remainder of the fund after everything has been spent through May 31st or June 30 is to be used at the discretion of this board. So the discussion that's been had at committees has been to utilize some of that funding to, again, assist townships in where they need to go. So whether that's assisting through the contract with Mr. Ball to provide training, potentially utilizing some of it for any legal review that they may need or just legal questions. And mind you, the townships are responsible for their own legal review. So it would just be something that could be questions and answers, but it would have to be somebody the township selected. This board has to appropriate any funds out of that fund specifically. And then anything, again, left over at the discretion of this board could be used in any manner that you see fit. I think I've mentioned at both Public Works and Planning that the whole intent of that fund has always been for the fact that the county we have a county-wide ordinance, so utilizing it for that purpose is really what makes sense, right? I can talk as staff that that's what makes sense. So that would be direction that, we would have to look at come the end of May 31st or June 30.
Thank you.
Long.
I'll just reiterate, this isn't, I know we talked a lot about this joint planning of townships coming together, but this isn't just for them. It's for the others that are going out on their own as well. So, are there any, Commissioner Shaver?
I just think it's important to remember that, prior to me being seated on this board, there was some really hard decisions that you all had to make. And they were decisions that had to be made, and I completely understand that. Those decisions, however, have put citizens all across our county, as well as smaller governments that have relied on us for services, it's put them in situations that have created certain jeopardies that had to happen. I think anything other than offering the best that we have to give is really not good government. I think that good government offers the best opportunity to our taxpayers and voters, and that's why I support that amendment to extend that date until June 30th, being that June 30th is the last predicted date that we could fund that to. And so I would encourage everybody to support that.
And I'll just say there really is no detriment to the county by extending it a month. Commissioner Barber?
I would disagree with you there, Chair. I think that's part of the problem with this board. This board that sits here right now says one thing and then ends up doing something else, right? Commissioner Shaver came to almost every meeting and was complaining about communication, right? We communicated with these townships way back in April of this year, right? Now, we kept on telling them, hey, it's going away. Now here we are. Oh, you know, we were just joshing, you know, we're just gonna give you another month. And then, at some point, this board is gonna have to go back to these constituents and go, hey, we really mean it, you know, like, we're really trying for you, but it'll just be like everything else, right? Hey, we're gonna try to get you, you know, police coverage. Maybe not. Hey, you know, like Maple Valley Schools, we really like you. I don't know. You know, it's pretty sad this board can't keep their own word, and it's gonna hurt you in the long run. But, all right, whatever.
Commissioner Prorite?
I am in favor of seconding the motion and giving the extension till June 30. And I have been very specific that at that point we're done. We did have Jason Ball here talking to us about what it takes for a master plan to be acceptable by state rules and how we have to section off certain sections for industrial, certain sections for this and whatever, and what it takes to actually have a completed master plan. So it's up to the townships to decide how they want to set that up, because I personally live in Delta, of course, and so I had a planning commission with a master plan since I moved in 1980, didn't know any different. So I am going to second it, but I am done offering extra. So I do hear you, Commissioner Barber, and I want you to know one of the things that's a hot topic, if anybody even looks at the paper at all, is those data centers. And Mr. Ball also said that if an out-of-state agency comes in and there's not a master plan in place, you could get different things than what you think you're going to get on your property, and then it turns into a lawsuit. So to me, I attended a special meeting on data centers Tuesday, and that's a hot topic, but there's other hot topics that could also affect people. So I'm quite sure that the township supervisors are going to be talking to their boards as we go forward, because this county made a decision based on our finances, based on 2 elections that we had. Thank you.
Any other comments? All right, we're going to vote on the amendment to the resolution. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, on to the main, resolution. Any comments, questions on the main resolution? Do we have to vote on that? Commissioner Toomey.
I was gonna say, did we vote to amend, we voted to amend the resolution, and now we're gonna vote on the resolution?
Correct. So this is on the resolution itself. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Commissioner. Next up, we have Public Safety Committee with Commissioner Holmes.
Thank you, Chairman. We met at our regular meeting, have one action item, the resolution to approve interim agreement for the operation of the youth facility. I move that.
Moved by Commissioner Holmes, supported by Commissioner Haskell. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
And that would conclude that report.
Short and sweet. Thank you, Commissioner. Next up, we have Ways and Means with Commissioner Drosha.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have several action items for tonight, the first of which are committee appointments. We have Eaton County Land Bank appointments. One of the appointees must be from the largest township in Eaton County, and that would be Delta Township. And we have Andrea Coscarella in that position. So she was in that position before, and she remains. The other one name came up was Michael Baker, and he was approved. So I would submit that, those two appointees.
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Drosha, supported by Commissioner Pearl Wright. Any questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
The next appointment we have are 4 appointments on the Historical Commission. We had 4 candidates and 4 positions open. So we have Mariana, I got to lift this up. I had my eyes worked on today. This will be tough. Mariana Burleson, Randall Tooker, Michael Frizzell, and Deborah Maluski in those positions, and I would move those positions as filled.
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Drosha, supported by Commissioner over here, Shaver. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. Item number 2 is the Axon Body Camera Technology Contract Renewal. And this is for our Sheriff's Department. Quite extensive, not cheap. But I would move this amendment, or this motion. I would move this resolution, that's what I'm trying to say. It's contagious, Jim.
Moved by Commissioner Drosha, supported by Commissioner Haskell. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
All right, thank you. Moving on to item 3, we looked at Chad Powers did for Maintenance Department, looked at our lease for the USDA building lease agreement and found out we were a little behind on what we were charging. I don't know if Chad or anyone is here that would like to address that. Just give us the basics of it. Welcome, Chad.
Good evening. Yeah, Ben will probably help me out on this a little bit, but part of my role is looking at the leases that we have around the complex. One with the state of Michigan and the DHHS building, and also the USDA at in the 551 building. So we look into those, and I think USDA was on target with market value. The state lease was a little lower, and that's the one we'll talk more about once that expires. But yeah, we've got a agreement in principle, I believe, Ben, if you want to expand on that.
Yep. Due to the federal shutdown, there were some delays in our ability to be able to negotiate with USDA, so we have not gotten the final contract back from them. We anticipate it's going to be the same agreement we had. The financials we have agreement on, and so that's at $22.50 per square foot, I believe is what that comes out to, which is very competitive. I think in the Lansing area, an analysis was done, and it was probably between like $17 and $19 per square foot. So this is one where we have a decent rate, and we have a good partnership with USDA. So we're requesting authorization because it expires on the 31st to be able to finalize that agreement if it comes in the spirit of what we've negotiated with them to date. The other one, like Chad said, will expire next year, and we'll have more details on that. But that one is going from about $713 per square foot up to, I think, $1885. So that's a significant change on that one.
Thank you.
Commissioner Christensen.
So I have a crazy question. On this, on our screen right now, it says $22.50 per square foot, all inclusive. What is the all inclusive?
So that's like snow removal, and the document that was in the Ways and Means packet broke it out. But we did like a shell rent analysis where you kind of show the insurance, maintenance, reserves, property management, 15% admin, utilities, landscaping, snow removal. So, you know, we have 2 facilities crew that do all the snow removal for the whole facility. So in that sense, this isn't like this tenant needs to get out there and salt their own sidewalks by, 7 a.m. to be in compliance with the local statute. Our crew members get out there. They're usually working overtime before the sun comes out to make sure that that work is done, right? That answers your question, yeah.
Any other questions, comments? Seeing none? Do we have a motion on this yet? Okay. Support by, moved by Commissioner Drosha, supported by Commissioner Shaver. Any questions, more comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Chad.
Thank you, Chad.
Thank you, Ben. Okay, next item number 4, resolution to approve the fiscal year 25-26 budget amendments, and I would move this resolution.
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Drosha, supported by Commissioner Pearl Wright. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those, sorry, Commissioner Toomey.
Yeah, I was just wondering if somebody from administration could speak to these.
This is the budget amendment?
Yeah.
This
was budget?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry.
Oh, you're looking at me to say something. I don't know.
No, I wasn't. I was looking at Logan. I'm like, Logan, do your job.
I'll harp on Logan next.
Do your job. Would you want to, he wants to take the mic just in case. Melissa could explain it too, but do you want to do it, Melissa?
You go ahead.
Okay, so technology services, one of the things that we were looking for when we started taking in admin fee from different contracts and grants is to make sure that we're utilizing those funds in order to provide services. And that is done in the form of service departments and technology services with the Delta contract and the health department contract and any other contract that we do expands the scope of what they have to do. So this is to add an employee and the supplies necessary for that new employee for them to stabilize their department and move that forward in the model that we're using for that admin fee. So I think I mentioned it one time before, I don't want that model where we're collecting an admin fee and get back into the habit of where we've been, where we're just using that in the fund balance and we're just adopting, a budget that is not responsible. So if we're going to collect the admin fee, it has to have a purpose. So in looking at this, Eric Daly did a lot of research. He worked with our office. He and Ben spent a lot of time together, and it was determined that adding that FTE would serve that purpose and meet the needs of the contracts that we have. So that's what that's about. Now, I will say, the one thing that's strange about it is that it says fund balance carryover. It's utilizing those funds from the contracts, but we have to establish a separate line item area. So what we're doing is just utilizing the fund balance carryover. It's essentially what we're using in this year. So it's not like we're taking the funds from last year, but we just don't have that line item set up. So that may be confusing. It's just an accounting structure. Any questions on that?
Commissioner Haskell.
Yeah, this isn't a question so much, but in Ways and Means, we did kind of compare this to, in the past, what we've done with Barry Eaton Health, where we took on responsibilities and a contract and just kind of threw it on the staff without giving any extra support. So this is kind of bucking that old bad habit and kind of changing the way we operate.
Yeah, if I could, sorry.
Yep, Commissioner Toomey.
I should raise my hand to be recognized. I guess just my concern with it, and I understand, and I'm confident that Ways and Means has done their due diligence, right? But I always just feel a little bit of concern after what we just went through with the last budget, adding FTEs, because I don't want to have to be in a position where we have to remove FTEs later. And, you know, this employee will cost $122,000 and change in the first year. That goes up over time, which is great. And I understand they're going to provide, you know, good service to the county and to the residents, but, you know, I just wanted to get a little bit more of an explanation on that because that always just worries me. I don't want us to be in that position, so.
So the concern would be that, you know, next year we have another budget issue, and so.
Well, I
it
don't
would
think
go
it's
back.
like imminent. Like,
But you're right, you are correct, and that's a risk with anything, but the idea and the structure that we've built in administration to give to you as a board is to stabilize the county and make decisions like this, utilizing the funds that we actually are bringing in. So that's the goal. We made a lot of cuts. Obviously, you heard from residents today, Maple Valley board members. I mean, we made cuts. We're hurting everyone. So this is a way to maintain service levels that technology services have to deal with. And I will just use one example, and Ben can grab the mic from me on this. Security right now in technology, I think we all know, is a significant risk to everyone, but to government with the data and information that we are to hold secure. If we do not have a dedicated individual and individuals, not just one, in an office to just sit and monitor. And when I say monitor, and you know, Director Daly is here, he would tell you, they're constantly looking at everything that's coming in and making sure that we're secure. And they do a great job, but it's one simple miss. It's one thing that can happen. So every time we add contracts, every time we add additional services, whatever, we're losing that structure that Director Daly has built and is trying to build. So I would have in administration a large concern about cutting in technology. So I will tell you, that would be a huge risk for the county to make cuts in technology in any way, shape, or form. Like, so, and I know what you're saying.
I was
There's
gonna
a
say, I'm not
risk.
advocating to cut
No,
anything.
but I'm saying going forward, the stability of this is the way that, you know, we're going to ensure that we're not doing that. We're not then hiring somebody and then, you know, eliminating them. I get your concern because you've watched this county over the last several years do just that.
It's been several years now. That's kind of, you don't have to say that. That's
What, for you?
Yeah.
It's been several years. Oh, he wants to talk.
So I just wanted to add to is when we negotiated the Delta contract, the 15% admin fee, a third of it is dedicated to paying down our long-term liability. That makes it easier for people to do business with us because when people look at contracting with us, our retirement expense is hefty. And that isn't something that just appeared overnight. The county's been carrying that for a while. But now we have a plan of attacking it in the long run. So every year that goes by, it should be easier to do contractual relationships with us, especially when it comes to police services. A third of that admin revenue was set aside for personnel support, of which we allocated a portion for this FTE. Because Delta Township's contract is so large, you literally could have one guy supporting the public service footprint for Delta Township. And we are in discussions with something related to fire. You know, and our tech services provides that kind of support for all fire and EMS within the county. So just giving that perspective, when you look at this, no, this is supported by admin revenue that we have locked into a 10-year contract, if that makes sense. So realistically, I don't think the board would be in a position to consider cutting this FTE if less than 10 years we didn't renew a contract with Delta Township, or we were to have a dramatic cut in the admin revenue when we went back to negotiate it, if that's helpful perspective. And this is, again, you add work, you use the money from that to support the service units that are delivering services in that contract.
Before the 10-year mark, if just just for my clarity, if I'm not remembering correctly, is there an early exit clause for both the county and Delta Township if they do not like the way this contract is structured right now? 3 years. So it could be 3 years.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point.
I just want to, like, not saying it's going to happen, don't hope that happens, but
It's a massive undertaking to develop and build out a police services. The other piece is liability. So that's the difficult thing when you think about contractual services with police services in general. Liability is huge. The county sheriff's office has the liability to provide police services countywide. So taking on another community doesn't increase what we pay for our liability coverage because he's already got that jurisdiction. When another community takes on services somewhere else, they're expanding their footprint beyond what is their normal piece. So what folks run into sometimes is they want to take on a police services contract and they don't realize they're going to get a bump in their liability coverage. And so locals have to evaluate that when they think about taking on. I know there are locals considering police service agreements, and it's just one of the things they have to look at. For us, though, we already have the jurisdictional boundary countywide, and you know.
Yeah, so I appreciate the explanation, and I will be in support of this. I just want to make sure that, and like I said, I know that Ways and Means looked at this very thoughtfully, and I agree with that recommendation. I just want to make sure that, you know, it's tough when it's tough for everybody when we have to have folks in public comment as well, you know, talking about 4-H, talking about school resource officers, about mental health funding, right? So I just want to preface that. So thank you. That's all I have.
Move on to the next one?
We have to vote.
You have to vote.
No, well, you have, unless you want to do that one separately, you have a whole list that are all
true. I
included in the
we have
rest.
more to talk
That's the
about.
only
You're
one
right.
you care about, I'll just go down the hall. So facilities management, that is the purchase of a vehicle that was put in our budget as a lease vehicle, which we're trying to move away from leasing vehicles because it's just not realistic in a lot of cases. The vehicle, and I'm going to get it wrong, the truck that we're replacing is 1980, 90? Probably 94? Chad? 1994?
Close, 2003.
Oh, geez. Well, that's just 10 years, no big deal. So yes, it's an old vehicle. So obviously, you know, they're skilled at taking care of vehicles, and it makes sense that we would retain a vehicle for 40 years.
So historically, we have purchased the vehicles in our department. We maintain them, oil changes, belts, all the wear and tear, where you're kind of bound in a lease agreement to go through a vendor. So when I realized it was entered as a lease item, I asked Ways and Means to change that so we can purchase a vehicle outright. So it makes more sense for our department. We keep them a long time. We have a 2003, which we're replacing, a 2006, and a 2010, I believe. So we hang on to those for quite a while, and that's, it's not, our vehicles aren't normal transportation vehicles where we're driving around like some of the other departments. Most of the traffic that we use for is right here on the complex, plowing snow and so forth. So we can hang on to those a lot longer. It just doesn't make sense for us to trade in vehicles every 5 years like some of the other departments. So that's why I requested that budget amendment.
Questions on that one? Next one is the sheriff's office. If you recall, the state of Michigan eliminated the RAP housing contract that we had for housing about 29 inmates per month that they were paying us. The total was about $400,000. This amount that we have is the remainder of what we haven't collected for this fiscal year. And in working with the sheriff's department, the only solution to manage the fact that we're losing that revenue is to reduce the wage and fringe, but it's not to eliminate positions, it's the unfilled positions while the sheriff works on a plan. Now, obviously, it would be great if they could pick up some other contract to replace that, because we're obviously not at maximum capacity in the jail. But that's what this is for, because we have to acknowledge the fact that we have lost that revenue and how we're going to deal with it. So the sheriff will continue to work on that aspect of it, but that is a huge loss for the jail. The other one is related to the Axon body cameras, and this is essentially an in and an out. Under GASB, we're required to capitalize vehicles or capitalize any equipment like this. And so Melissa did the work on it, $750,000 that we have to capitalize, but it comes from revenue for proceeds from borrowing. This is strictly an accounting function. There is not an increase to the budget for the cost of the contract because that's already in the budget with the former dollar amount of the contract. So it's not an increase to the expense, it's an in and an out. And finally, the last one is again on the Axon body cam, but it's the Delta contract, which is in a separate fund now. So it's their share of it, their Axon body cams. Any questions on that?
Any questions? None? We ready to vote? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Moving on to item 5, and Logan, be prepared.
Now, Logan.
Resolution to approve Eaton County privacy policy.
Yes, this is me. So this is a privacy policy that I introduced to Ways and Means. This is a pretty standard operating policy that you'll see on most websites, not just government sites. We have a disclaimer on our site now for some intellectual property and copyright, as well as for PA 462, which is Access to Public Records Act that covers that. This is a more robust version of that. Protects user information, personal information that they're implementing, the cookies that are collecting that information both on their browser and our browser, and it's just a more robust protection for us in terms of liability and intellectual property.
Any other questions? Well, it hasn't been moved yet.
I will move this.
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Drosha, supported by Commissioner Shaver. Okay, comments? Commissioner Dubey.
I'm very happy to see this. Thank you. I like it.
Me too.
Any other comments? All right, seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On to item number 6. This is a difficult one. We had some discussions on this, but it's the resolution compelling the state of Michigan to follow through, I hope our legislators are listening, with previously approved financial appropriation commitments, and I would move this resolution.
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Drosha, supported by Commissioner Peak. Commissioner Toomey.
Yeah, so I like that there's a lot of support around the room for the resolution. I have a couple of questions about it. I mean, just for the clarity of the public on what you're talking about, it's the $645 million in cuts that were made across the state, correct?
The House Appropriations Committee, yes, voted to cut those.
So I guess I want to be very specific for what's Eaton County going to be impacted by and who made those cuts. So we're talking about $5 million for the Eaton Rapids Medical Center. We got $700,000 for the Eaton County Fire Training Center, $250,000 for the Grand Ledge Emergency Disaster Relief Fund, $2 million for Delta Township Housing, $2 million for Windsor Township Water Hookup, $5 million for the Bank Intercounty Drain. So you're looking at $14,950,000 that was just taken away from this county. It was not by the House of Representatives. It was by Michigan House Republicans on the Appropriations Committee. That's what it was. And so I would love to see that reflected in this resolution because they were cut under the guise of waste, fraud, and abuse. These projects are not waste, fraud, and abuse. We just got robbed. The citizens of this county just got robbed. They came in and took $14,950,000 out of our pockets. So I want to be clear on that.
Okay, any other comments? Commissioner Haskell.
Are you making a motion to add that to the?
Yep, replace the language.
I would support adding that figure to the resolution.
Any other?
Yeah, I'd like to call, I mean, yeah, that's fine. I'd like to add the projects and the figures.
Commissioner Drosha.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think it's ridiculous to politicize this. This is statewide. This is not just Eaton County, this is statewide. And I appreciate the fact that they're cutting what they think is unnecessary spending. What bothers me is that they passed it and then removed it. So I think the resolution as written is more than appropriate to submit at this time. And I'll leave it there, so I'm not in favor of the amendment.
Any other comments? Commissioner Pearlwright.
As soon as we talked about it in Ways and Means, I watched the chair of the House Appropriations being interviewed on Off the Record. Then I watched Speaker Hall on Sunday for a half hour. And that money was already allocated to us. And the best I have been able to explain to certain people asking me questions, I go, this would be like you poured the slab to build a pole barn, you started putting the sticks in the ground, and now they're telling you you can't have any more money to put the roof on. Because some of these situations, people have already put money in to be prepared to apply for these grants and have it approved. So I'm gonna definitely support it, and I like Commissioner Toomey's idea to add that to the letters that we need to be sending.
Commissioner Jean Whitaker.
Thank you. I guess, you know, we have these resolutions, and there's a lot of words, and there's a lot of mumbo jumbo in a lot of the things. We have, you know, we have our own vocabulary in this realm. I don't know how it hurts to have some clarity on the record that shows the impact to our county, because we don't want this to happen anywhere. I mean, everybody is going to be impacted by this. So we would like the legislators to not have done this, so the whole state would not have had to experience these losses. So I guess I feel like, you know, for just kind of for the sake of clarity and for just better, you know, documentation and in writing, that we can include those numbers in those details. I don't know what it takes away from the impact if we do that.
Commissioner Haskell.
Yeah, I think I want to build on Commissioner Whitaker's comment there. You know, had we, you know, gone and called out the exact representatives that had made this, I would agree with you that that would be going down a political path. But I think, like you mentioned, Commissioner Drosha, most communities that have been impacted about this statewide, if they were to limit, or I'm sorry, not limit, but include the projects and funds that their counties were being impacted by too, whether it's a Democratic-controlled board or a Republican-controlled board, that's really still keeping it as a communication to the public about what is actually at stake. And I think Commissioner Toomey's amendment does a good job of that, and I would encourage everyone to still support it.
Communications, Logan Bailey, you got a couple words?
Yeah, just a couple clarifying things too. We've spoken with several different state departments and our representatives, and we still aren't 100% clear what's going to get cut, how that's going to function, if we're going to have more time or no time. And so there is some back and forth we're having, and we're waiting on official guidance. And so I just want to let that be known before we add anything too specific into this resolution, that some things might not end up being cut, some might get cut a lesser amount or completely gone. We just don't know yet.
Commissioner Arndt.
The resolution appears to be adequate as written, here as I can tell here. But my question right now is, how many state representatives does Eaton County have at present?
I believe 4.
And have all of them responded to any concerns that we've voiced regarding the budget as it is, or as it's being put forward?
The resolution?
No, the budget. The resolution hasn't been put out yet, obviously.
This isn't about the budget has been approved. This is about, so this budget for all this money was approved by the Senate and the House. The House Republicans on the Appropriations Committee used an arcane rule that has never been used like this before to take money that was appropriated to this county away that was already approved. And it was approved by them and the House Democrats in the normal budgeting process.
That doesn't answer my question.
Hold, did you have something to say, Controller?
Well, we've had discussions with representatives, but again, they know about as much as what, we know. Everything just kind of went out there, and these are representatives that are sitting there, they sponsored something, and now there's nothing. They're losing that for their community. So I think everybody's confused. They're working. Like Logan said, we have been talking and talking and talking and trying to get some type of answer. It's just not there. And this is something that hasn't happened before. So we're kind of in this limbo, and I don't know if you wanted to add anything on the yeah, I know you do.
I was just going to add that these are work project languages. So in the state budget, a state budget has the full effect of the law for 1 year. But the state laws allow work projects because of capital infrastructure and different pieces take up to 5 years to complete. And so historically what happens is the work projects are identified in the year the funding is appropriated, and then typically it's just a measure of carrying them over year over year over year. So this is the first time that a single chamber has taken the position of not renewing those funds. So they went through an appropriation process at one time. For the capital, it takes a while to get going. There are engineering expenses, procurement expenses, delays when everybody's ordering concrete at the same time, as an example. And so like the Bankerter County Drain is a good example of a project that just takes years of design work to get it underway. So I guess to answer the question, it has also been requested by the Senate that the AG evaluate whether or not it was even legal the way that it was executed, because it's not a measure that's been used in the past. So this will play out over time. But we've received 2 lists. Some projects were on one list, some weren't on the other. There's not clarity on what has been cut. And we've reached out to the departments, we've reached out to different state reps. I'm not sure if every state rep will take a position, because sometimes these things are resolved through conversations and trying to get things reconsidered. This resolution you see embodies what Ways and Means had put forward as the best step. And since that meeting, we've only found that there's less clarity in where we're at positionally today. So I think that would be the staff recommendation. This at least says we support adhering to the original appropriations as moved by the Senate, the House, and the governor, and then carried through as a work project, which I think is what the intent was.
Commissioner Christensen.
So in looking something up, I just found something that was posted on the Michigan Senate Democrats page 1 hour ago. It says, last night we voted to restore critical funding that House Republicans ripped away from Michigan kids, families, and communities. Government should honor its commitments, and we're taking action to make the people who were counting on this funding whole.
Commissioner Holmes.
As I'm looking at this and understand the discussions, this resolution is just appealing to the state to follow through and as a remedy to what they done, and not try to add a bunch of other things. Keep it just to the point, saying, hey, you done this, you should follow through.
Commissioner Toomey.
Whoever is fine.
Commissioner Haskell.
I guess, Logan, I want to pitch this to you as our communications expert. If the resolution was to speak as to what appropriations had been made, not saying that we're specifically thinking those are going to be cut, but it's a potential of, would that be more appropriate?
I mean, we can add that in. We can try and artfully craft that language in a whereas. But I mean, I'd look to Controller Sobey too. I mean, we're not calling out, what my concern was just, if we list everything out and then 2 of them don't get cut or they all get brought back, I guess that wins in the end.
Potential, right?
Yeah, I mean, we can certainly do that. Yeah, I think either way.
Yeah,
I know, so Friday, I contacted Lansing Regional Chamber, and because on behalf of CapCog, I wanted to voice my opposition as well. I talked to the other members, and they were in agreement. Because regardless, Democrat or Republican, in my opinion, this is not the way to go about it. If you want to cut services and stuff, you do it in the beginning and during the process, not when they've already been underway. Because in some instances, these projects cost more because they've already started. So in my opinion, there's a lot of Republicans, not just Democrats, up in Lansing that are upset as well. Because this process could be done again in retribution, okay? And that's not the way that the government should operate. And I understand the frustration on the Democrat side because there was a group of people that did this. I get it. But if you're gonna lash out at another party on this, that's not the way to go to do it, okay? Because there's plenty on both sides that are upset at this. Commissioner Toomey.
Yeah, I just wanted to provide some additional insight for Commissioner Christensen just on the way that process works with the Senate Democrats release that you read. What they did is that in the Appropriations Committee, they used a rule to claw back this funding. What the Senate Democrats are trying to do is pass a bill to restore it. So it would then have to go through the Michigan House of Representatives, which there's, I don't think there's been any commitment to do that. So it would have to go through the floor over there. So I guess that's all I'm saying is that, you know, I guess it sounds nice, but I don't think it's going to get us any closer to getting that money back. Like procedurally, it is the correct step, but that requires a commitment from the folks that just cut this. You know, you get what I'm saying? So that's why, you know, I just don't want to, I don't want to sugarcoat it, to be honest. Like that is a lot of money to this community. And I think that the people that did it should own it. They should own it. There was a small group of people. It was unanimous down party lines.
Call for the question, Mr. Chair.
I'm still recognized. You're not recognized.
No, call for the question.
Anyways.
All right.
If I could finish my statement.
No, call for the question.
So we're gonna remind me of, because we need to vote on the whether or not to do the amendment and what was the language we're going to add.
We're going to add the programs that were impacted as well as the dollar amount
Okay.
as it currently is.
Is that correct?
Roll call vote.
What did I miss?
Commissioner Barber.
You forgot that he wants to make sure that you put Republicans, the evil Republicans in there.
That is not the motion that I made.
They took that out.
took-
They
yeah.
they did take that out. It's just the dollar amount.
I mean, if you want to put that in.
Hold. Not recognized. Commissioner Shaver.
The issue is we don't know what the dollar amount is because we,
Yeah, you are correct. Okay. You are correct.
That's fine. If it sounds like if you
No, we're done.
It's my motion. If you would like a friendly, if you would like
We're
a
gonna-
friendly,
we're gonna
amendment, I
vote.
can offer.
Nope.
All right, fine. Call the question.
All right, roll call vote has been asked for. Clerk.
Commissioner Shaver.
no.
Commissioner Arndt. No. Commissioner Peak.
Yes.
Commissioner Haskell.
Yes.
Commissioner Pearl Wright.
Yes.
Commissioner Whitaker.
Yes.
Commissioner Mudry.
Yes.
Commissioner Jones.
Yes.
Commissioner Drosha.
No.
Commissioner Toomey.
Yes.
Commissioner Hanson.
No.
Commissioner Christensen. Commissioner Holmes.
No.
Commissioner Barber. No. Chairman Mott.
No. So the motion for change language has failed. So we're going to pass or vote on the resolution as worded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Moving forward. I move we pay the claims and purchases for Eaton County.
Moved by Commissioner Drosha, supported by Commissioner Haskell. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And lastly, item number 8 is a resolution to approve controller administrator employment agreement.
Moved by Commissioner Drosha, supported by Commissioner Christensen, or, Hanson. Okay. All right. Questions, comments? All right. Oh,
Do we need to review that in this committee? I'll leave that up to the controller's office.
I would appreciate that.
Absolutely.
So before you is an employment agreement, as we discussed at Ways and Means, public sector employment agreements with your chief executive officer is a standard practice. Whether it's a city manager, whether it's a county administrator, and that is part and parcel because these jobs come with risk because board turnover happens and people lose jobs. And with a city manager or a county administrator, that often means they have to relocate their families, pull them out of schools. So kind of the trade-off that exists within the U.S. local government model is your chief executives have a contract. And with that, this is the employment agreement that we have here at Eaton County. The wage is set at the top of the scale of the Eaton County scale. There's been an addition of a retirement clause. We're up to the discretion of the chairman, the ability to provide a $20,000 retirement. Controller Sobey's been with the county for 37 years, going on 38 years of service. She was eligible to retire before she stepped into this role, and the desire to have her stay on and help ensure that we have adequate transition planning in place. So if she retires in the next year, Chairman Mott would have the authority to authorize that. And then the longevity is $100 per year, and the contract waives that so that she can get paid $100 for 38 years as opposed to right now it's capped at 35. We went ahead and did an analysis of the lower communities population-wise, the 7 below and the 7 above. We did that for population and taxable value. When you ran the analysis of what our administrator makes compared to those communities on average, it was about $21,000 that we underpay by comparison. Using Clinton and Barry as examples, those are 2 communities with lower taxable value and lower populations that pay more than we do for our county administrator. I would also add, for those that have ever had the pleasure of doing an executive search, the more unstable your community is, typically the higher premium you pay to attract people to come and work for you. And that's just a reality. We were really lucky to have Connie stay on, which is one of the reasons you see this contract before you. So it's a reflection of the market value for an executive that you can trust to lead your organization forward. So those were discussions that Chairman Mott and I had as we negotiated this contract, and we really do want to say I think Connie would have accepted it as it was, but I think it's an important acknowledgement.
It was not in my original.
No.
Not in what I presented.
It was not in the original, but the fact she's staying on another year is invaluable to the county because we're not ready for losing 38 years of experience. We barely just got the train back on the tracks. And so that's what you have before you.
Thank you, Ben. And to add to that, and I know I spoke at Ways and Means, but as soon as Connie took the position, I mean, it was almost immediately the changes that happened in this community or in the county here at the office was almost immediate in a positive direction. Creating staff, just working a different procedure than before, giving us information and that we didn't have before. And just the way she operated, it was much more efficient. She did things that didn't have to do as a controller. She stayed nights and worked and did actually a couple of jobs as one person when the accountant was decided to leave. So she took that over. She was doing 2 jobs. And so, in my opinion, she saved the county a lot of money. She went out on her own personal time when the tax limitation millage was on the ballot to educate the community on what it was, and she didn't have to do that. So in my opinion, this probably doesn't even come close to what she actually deserves. She didn't ask for this, but this is something, a little bit of what we can do to show our appreciation to all the years of hard work that she did and the money that she saved this county. And so that is hard work that is deserved. So thank you very much. Anybody else have any comments? Okay. Have we had a motion on that?
I moved it.
Okay. Support by Commissioner Whitaker? Or was it Hanson? No, okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair, and that concludes my report.
Thank you, Commissioner. Next, we have the administrator's report.
So thank you for that. I appreciate it. I didn't ask for it, but I do appreciate it. I could have retired and spent 24/7 with my husband, and that's what he said today, just come home. But there's a lot left to do here. It's not going to be done in a year. I need you to understand that. There's a lot of work. The last 3 years have been intense. I was able to bring on a strong team when made the hiring decision to bring Ben on board. I think that was a phenomenal decision, a phenomenal structuring that I asked the board to do, to look at HR issues that exist in every workplace. And we needed to stabilize that because, again, before this, I was the finance director, the HR director, and the deputy administrator. That's what my job was. So I chose to focus, as the administrator and the board agreed, on HR. Quickly after that, we learned that we couldn't do without a deputy administrator. So I believe it was Ben's first day, and Ben's kind of invasive. You probably say he wants to take that. But he came in the first day, we were working on a resolution, and he's just like, I'll do it, I'll look at it. So he did. I mean, he's taken on that role right from the beginning. So it was a good decision, and I appreciated the board at the time for doing that. And then adding communications, which now has taken on a different role, has been a benefit to this county that people will never understand. I think board members here understand that. I know that we sit in my office amazed at what that position has brought to us. And we're very lucky that the person in the position is Logan. The expectation, I say this all the time, if he were to leave or anyone is to leave, we have to replace the person with another person that can do that job. So they've done a great job. Ben and Logan both have done a great job. We restructured with Melissa as the finance director, again, separating out those roles, keeping her in that direct role. The struggle we've had over the last 3 years is stability in the county, and we went straight from me taking on this role to going into me telling the chairman, you need to do something, and do something now, because, and I've said it, we should have done a ballot proposal back in 2017, 18, 19, and then we got COVID funding. That didn't help us. So we did that. The chairman put together that financial stability work group. They did a lot of hard work to get us to the point that it was determined we needed to bring in additional revenue. And I'm going to tell you, we knew that for years. And when you're sitting as the deputy, Ben has a voice because I give it to him. You have to be given that voice in order to talk to the board. When I got that voice, I didn't shut up. and I won't. I mean, I think that's what you should expect from me, and I should expect that you're going to challenge anything that I'm saying to you. That's what your job is here, but you need to have the best information possible in order to make decisions because you're serving the people of the county. The other addition or change that we did was to bring Claudine Williams into our office and create a division that is actually dealing with intergovernmental affairs. She has many hats, deals with veterans, housing, community development still. But that, I say it, you need to recognize your employees and the work that they do. And my first day, and I know a lot of you have heard this, but my first day, I know there was something that came up, I think it was in our executive team meeting, and I said something, and Claudine's like, oh, I have that. And then that was the next day, and the next day, and the next day, that she had all of this information. And I will tell you, and I say it for purposes of Claudine, she's sitting in the back, that she was giving this board all that information. This board just didn't know it was coming from her. So that's recognizing that has built, I think, a lot of strength in the county. And Chairman Mott has given us that foundation, and the board gave it, solidified it by allowing, my team to be built. So again, we've made a lot of changes. There's a long way to go. Last 3 years going in and out of doing a ballot proposal. The tax limitation was devastating. I mean, it was like the busiest time here. We didn't have time to do the things we needed to do. So we needed to deal with HR issues. How many hours were we spending on the tax limitation and then trying to do the budget and trying to do the audit and everything just rolling. All the while, every department in this entire county and elected official was dealing with challenges where they need our help, and we weren't always able to assist them. So we lost a lot of ground over the last 3 years. My goal over the next year is to kind of make up some of that we've lost, but really it's succession planning and making sure that you have a foundation that's better than it was 3 years ago when I was hired, so that you can move on to providing additional stability. Because again, that's what I've said. It's all about stabilizing this county, and every one of the communities has that expectation. So enough of that. I can grandstand all I want. So we've talked a lot about what's happened here. I want to just address some things. You made some major decisions this year, and I know that Commissioner Shaver was not here, but he did walk through and listen, and Chairman Mott and I had attended some meetings where we were talking to townships, and Commissioner Shaver was there. So he's been part of this piece of it. So I just say it to all of you. Tough decisions, they're not over. Going into the next budget process is not going to be traumatic the way that it was, but you're still going to have to kind of ask those difficult questions and listen to the communities and what they're struggling with. The Delta Township contract, huge accomplishment, but something that I'd say we didn't want to do. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to be at the point that we're asking a community to fork over an additional $4 million for police services so that they didn't have to go out on their own and have to put in an additional $8 million instead of $4 million. So we were able to work through that, but that's come with a price to, like you heard from Maple Valley Schools. It's frustrating as heck that they can't get services that they received, and there's a concern. There's a concern from the school perspective, parents, the children who lost an officer that was there, that was stability. So it's huge challenges. We still don't have anything with Windsor. Windsor Township is looking at getting a quote from another community. So we're still waiting on that. Oneida Township, same thing. They were on an overtime contract. All of these things, if we're going to utilize the model that this board for stability has set forth, is going to cost these communities a lot of money. And it's not where they want to be. And they're angry, but I think we're all angry. Chairman Mott, what do I say whenever you come into my office? I'm like, He gets sick of me saying it. Well, if this would have happened, then we wouldn't be here. So I just say this because I want everyone to know this is not where we wanted to be. Nobody wants to pay additional taxes. It had a purpose. It didn't work. We can belabor that for the rest of my career forever. It's just not going to do us any good, so we're moving forward. But that was a lot of good work. The other thing is working with the technology services and working with facilities. They did an awful lot of work in terms of stabilizing what you need to plan for budget-wise going into the future with infrastructure that you're required to maintain and technology that we need to survive. So we're going to continue to work on, on that capital improvement plan and modify it. We'll continue to work on policies, push us on the policies. I'll look at Commissioner Haskell. Continue to push us. If there's a policy that you want us to act on right away, then that's what we should do. We should be looking at it. The only way that you're going to ensure that things don't happen like they did is to rely on those policies. And you set the policies that then a future board, has to vote against or override, and then the public will see that that's what the new board did, right? So you're setting those policies in order to offer that stability. If we would have had policies years ago, a lot of things wouldn't have happened. Fund balance policy is key. It was one of the things that I talked about for years, and I know I've said it, I'm annoying, and I know that. We should have had a fund balance policy before I started here. And it wasn't done. And it was always, well, we can just undo it. But that's not the point. The point is you maintain that fund balance at a certain level so we don't get to this point. So we're not relying on turnover in employees. We're not relying on not doing sidewalks. We're not relying on, what other communities can do. You're relying on stability from the county and where we're at. So a lot of work to do there. That's what I want to pass on to, whoever's in charge of administration in the future. That's something that has to be done and has to continue. And there are a lot of policies that need to be done. And new ones, privacy policy, long time overdue, long overdue. And we have a lot coming. I think we've done a really good job in working through Claudine and Logan in trying to secure grant funding. You don't see it, but Logan, the amount of work that he does, and then, working with Claudine, pulling her in on things, it's phenomenal to watch what they're doing in seeking funding. And it's a lot of work, and it's something, again, this county should have been doing 40 years ago. Go out for funding, and it wasn't happening. So it is now, and that's the expectation the board should have and the public should have. It's all taxpayer money, but if we can get it from the state or federal government, that's what we should be doing to alleviate the burden here in our community. The other piece, departments, I've spoken a lot about the employees and the amount of work that they do around here, and I can't emphasize it enough. I can't tell you how much work and stress it was for each of the elected offices and each of the departments, because they didn't know what was happening one day to the next. Give me a call. Where are we at? Is this going to be cut? I don't know. This was the most unstable budget that we've ever seen. But now we finalized it, that stability will move forward. But it was a lot of stress. We've lost a lot of employees over the last 10 years, but over the last 3, unbelievable turnover. And Ben goes through that in his reports. So we lost really good employees, and we've hired good employees, but that's training, and it takes a lot, and it takes a toll on the employees that are left in the office. It takes the toll on an administrator who knows how to do the work, and you just have to do it. I'm not going to walk away from here and not do the accountant job. If I have to do payroll, I'm going to step in and do payroll. That's what we do in every single office here. That's the expectation. If we have to stay late, we stay late. We're not paid overtime for that. And that's, again, the expectation, and that's public service, and we do it. And I think we do it very well, better than very well. Let's see. Staff made notes on this, and I'm not going to say what staff says, but that's super nice. The staffing, I think, we made cuts, and I know the things that we cut on non-mandated are not things that would come back immediately, but I think everybody here would agree that you want public safety So the goal is to bring a police force back, you know, and not where you didn't see a deputy because you live in what we say out county, and you guys know I hate that. You need a police force that's actually present, that, you know, police force, I said it, I think at Ways and Means, that somebody pulls out of this parking lot and goes the wrong way because they do it. I see it out my window all the time. I used to see our deputies giving them a ticket because they're leaving and they, you know, cue up their lights and they pull them over and they give them a ticket. So we want to see that happen. That's just going to take time to bring that back. And contracts are the start to that. Building a foundation that the sheriff put together as far as staffing that's remaining, command, the security, the transports. All of those items are the things that needed to be done so that we had the ability to, let me use my hands, we had the ability to bring, don't laugh at me, Ben, bring that back. It's a lot of work. It takes a lot of time, and we can argue and complain about, you know, what department chose to do this and which department chose to do that. But in the end, elected officials choose what their department looks like, and this board can say yes or no. But, you know, you've said yes to the structure that's in the sheriff's department right now. I'd just say let's build off of that and see if we can bring back where we were. But it's not overnight. It's going to take a lot of time. I think I'll shut up now because, again, I know I talk more than I wanted to, but I want you to know that as a board, you did a great job. It's not it's not about administration. It's about administration giving you information to do what you do. And do it well, so that you can then come back on me and say, you gave me the wrong information, and, you know, this is why we made the decision. Can I say what I want to say? What's a bad decision that wasn't the board's fault? Solar. I'm going to say it. I've said it all along. I just had a discussion with our lead maintenance worker today about it. It's not something that we would have done. And go back and watch the video of when it was actually approved. Questions were asked by the vendor, not answered, and then answered and accepted. We wouldn't have gone that route. We would not have gone the route of solar. We just wouldn't. And I'm not faulting solar. It's not that. It's just that the county was not financially stable to do what we're doing and pick up additional costs. It is what it is. But the information given to the board made it seem like it was budget neutral. I've said it for the last 2 years that it was not a budget neutral decision. I said no to this. I can tell you the number of people who said this was not a good idea. I just saw our former facilities director who was like, I said no. We were not included in the meetings. And again, we can't rehash it, but I just want you to say, I want you to understand that when you're making decisions, the questions that you ask us that's your job. Make us do our work in order for you to make those decisions. And then I'll leave it at that. I hate solar when we talk about it around Eaton County, and I hate saying that, but it's frustrating. It had a place, but it didn't fit into the county's model, so. Thank you.
Thank you for that report. All right, moving on. We're going to elected officials' comment. Yes, Clerk Bosworth.
I would just like to take a minute to say, from my perspective as county clerk for the past 13 years, I'm thrilled that Connie's going to be here another year. And it's because we need her more than you can imagine. So I'm grateful for that. Thank you.
Treasurer Renette.
Hello again, board and public. I'm coming up on my 12th full month now as county treasurer since being elected a year ago last November. And I think it's important that I just say how grateful I am to the citizens of this county for giving me the chance to serve in this capacity. Although our county faces many challenges, and we've heard some of them tonight, that hasn't dampened my enthusiasm for this job. In fact, I'm actually looking forward to the coming years. At the risk of sounding like a cliche with the funding cuts at the state level, I'm sure we will find a way to deal with that painfully, but we will find a way because we have to. And I'm equally grateful for the colleagues that I work around, the public that has contacted my office and I've interacted with, the board members, and last but certainly not least, my office treasury staff. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Treasurer. I don't think there's any other electeds here. So we will move on to commissioner comments. Commissioner Toomey?
Thank you. I just wanted to bring this up here because we don't have an IT and comms committee anymore after we eliminated that. So I think it would go to Ways and Means, but just something for the board to think about. I think it could be really helpful. I see this in a lot of communities around Eaton County and the state of just like getting a 3-minute or 5-minute, however long the board wants, I think it's 3 minutes, clock for public comment, just so it's fair to everybody. If Ways and Means would be happy to review that, I'd love to see it. Just because I think that it can cause some tension when we tell folks to cut off or whatever. It's just easier if they can see the time and we don't give people extra time or too little time or whatever. So that's just something I've been thinking about, and I know we don't have IT and comms anymore, so.
Okay, all right.
Sorry, Mr. Chair. Everybody, please have a good holiday. Be safe. Have a good new year. And hope it's restful. So, thank you.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Peak?
Yeah, I just wanted to take a moment and wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. And then I just wanted to remind folks that some people is a tough time of year for them. So check on your friends, check on your family, check on those people that may be having a tough time this year.
Commissioner Haskell?
Yeah, this time of year, it's always nice to provide a little bit of reflection, and I can say that there's a lot about 2025 that I'm not going to miss. I think, Connie, your comments were kind of skirting along that line too, with how hard the budget season was this year, and honestly, whether it's here or in my other work life, it's been a rough ride. But as you admit that and look at that, I think there's also time to be thankful for a lot of the staff that, during the uncertain times kind of stuck around. So I think they deserve some thanks. And a lot of that, whether it's here on campus, or I want to especially call out the Delta Patrol that, kind of stuck around while that contract was being negotiated and solved. I also want to thank the Delta residents who supported our tax millages twice over and kind of took on the burden of that special assessment to make sure that there is still a presence in the road patrol. If it is only in Delta, that's obviously true, but it gives us some hope, then something that we can build off in the future, and I'm thankful for that.
Commissioner Purwright?
Okay, I was first elected and started serving in 2005. I got myself unelected, and so I was done in December of 2010, and then I got back on the board in the November 16 election. So I'm completing 15 years on this board, and all the time, Connie was in one of two offices. And so all I'm going to say is I am thrilled that she is staying one more year to help us out, because I even know it goes back to Treasurer Robinson telling us that we needed to do something different. And he would say that at meetings outside of this situation. But I know that Connie has done her best in all these years to always try to give me accurate information when I went to her. And I think Ben Dawson has also taken on this responsibility in a stand-up manner. I've never had any problem with our chair. And Logan is wonderful. I think the first comment I gave him was the newsletter, because we never had that type of situation here in all my years. So, and Clerk Bosworth, she's amazing clerk. I mean, I'm just telling you, I'm very proud to be here, and I ask a lot of questions because people actually call me wanting to know what were all those monies that we're going to lose, and I had to boil it down to, well, this is how it would be. And so if I don't understand, which I didn't even understand what I didn't understand, I didn't know to ask in a lot of cases. I know a lot of commissioners from other counties were telling me things. So that was my learning curve with what I always felt that Connie was giving me accurate information. So thank you for staying for a year and not going off to retirement.
Commissioner Arndt.
Well, this was an interesting first year in public office. Well, not fifth year in public office, first year in this office. And not going to say it was exactly was described to me early on, but fairly close, actually. And again, in any case, it's an honor to serve. And now for more seasonally relevant questions. Number one, may I ask and thank who baked and provided the... Thank you, Commissioner Christensen.
Absolutely.
And thank you, Commissioner Haskell, for the... And Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Commissioner Christensen.
I, as well, am glad that Connie's staying on another year. I think we all enjoy getting straightforward answers from you. And I also wanted to take a second and just, I guess, give a shout out to Helping Hands Food Pantry. Yet again, they're doing about 6,000 pounds of food, as I had stated before, a day. Anybody in Eaton County that is having a hard time with food and needing food, they will be open tomorrow. And then they are back open one day next week for Christmas week. And they will be open on Tuesday from 11 to 5:30. They are located at 621 Jefferson Street in Charlotte. And again, that's for anyone in Eaton County. It's not just a Charlotte thing. For District 12 and Charlotte City residents, I'm not sure about the outlying area, so you'd have to call and find out. Tomorrow night, Calvary Baptist Church at 825 North Cochrane from 6 to 8 is giving out food baskets, Christmas baskets to anyone. They are advising that you call and get on their list so they have one made for you. And then lastly, Saturday, December 20th, Charlotte Assembly of God at 10 a.m. Is giving out baskets as well. And they have approximately 250 baskets to give out. So again, if you're struggling this holiday season for food, don't do that. Just go get a basket, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, everyone.
Commissioner Drosha.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would also like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I was seated on here in 2017, but more importantly, my family moved here in 1964, and I've been here ever since, save for a few times when I moved for employment, but I came back, and I intend to stay here. I hope I live a long life here, but anyway. I would just, one of the things that we talked about early on, I know Connie was here. I knew she was in the background, but our previous controller, I had a couple conversations with him about what is it that this county lacks that other counties have. And one of the things that came up was the fact that, as much as I hate the word lobbyist, we don't have anyone to lobby for Eaton County. That's left up to us as commissioners, our staff here at the courthouse, and our residents. And unfortunately, due to the cost of living and rising costs everywhere, we have felt that pressure on the county and had to come to this point with our budget this year. We can't afford to do everything we want to do. We can't afford to do the things we used to do. It's a lack of revenue. And the only way we're going to gain revenue is to promote our county. We've got a lot of good things. It's not just one township in the county, it's all the townships in the county. I'm not looking forward to predatory developers to come in and say we have to have a data center or solar fields and all this other garbage. I'm talking about bringing real companies in that want to use local talent and bring revenue into this county, and it's up to us to do that. We haven't hired anybody, and we're not going to hire anybody to lobby for us. So I am very optimistic. I think the hard work continues, but it was a tough decision this year, in the last couple of years, to what we were going to do financially. Obviously, the millage of the past, we're going to leave that there. But if you want road patrol to come back, which I do, I live in a general law township, three very bad intersections out my way. We just had a very serious accident the other day again. And I think people are taking the fact that we don't have consistent road patrol to just do what they want. 1956, Michigan established their speed limit. And it's been in place ever since, and we need to adhere to that. I about got run over the other day on Packard Highway coming here. It's a 45-mile-an-hour speed limit, and this clown, and I use that word sincerely, this clown thought we should be doing 60. And I could rant for a while, but anyway, my point is that we've got an excellent county here. We're right in the middle of the state. We've got 96 to the north, 94 to the west. We got 69 to our east. We got 66 to our west. We could bring in a lot of business here. And it doesn't have to take up thousands of acres of farmland to do it. We've got places in our municipalities, in our cities, in our villages that we could get businesses going, and we have to promote that. So we can benefit from that revenue and bring back the things that we don't have. So with that said, I want to thank, special thanks to the Controller's Office and the staff, the entire staff at Eaton County. Great people, great people. If you haven't had a chance to come and just talk to some of our people, please do so. And with that, Merry Christmas.
Mr. Shaver.
Yeah, I think that I agree with a lot of what I heard in the commissioner comments, but it's really hard for me to just shoot right to Christmas. It's my favorite time of the year. It's really hard for me, even as optimistic as I am, and I'm very optimistic about the future of Eaton County, to sit here and talk about all those things when the majority of the gallery is from my district. And there's been comments that have been made even tonight about there not being communication problems, about there not being discrepancies in the things that citizens and other parts of our community have heard. We can do better. I believe we're doing better in a lot of different ways, and I know that there's people here that are working very hard, and so I acknowledge that. But to not acknowledge the fact that we have issues that people are still feeling, and they're feeling deeply, especially in the rural parts of our county. I can't do that. And so I think that we need to focus towards 2026 with relentless positive action. I know that there's partisanship. I know that there's other things that are at play in our county. I think we can all work together to make our county be that kind of place where it's prosperous and where the best services that we can offer at this point to the county are not just talked about in this room, but felt by the people across the county. I think now we have to do things differently. There were votes that were taken over the past however many months where the county was denied greater funding. I believe that we can continue to do the best that we possibly can with the funding that we have and offer those services. That being said, I'm thankful for the team that's here. I'm thankful to be a part of it. I've just completed my first month. I think I got thrown into the deep end of the pool. That's great. I know how to swim. I'm not threatened by that at all. This is the best time of the year. I hope everybody enjoys it with their families. And I pray the blessing of this season over everybody in Eaton County, and Merry Christmas to everyone.
Thank you. Commissioner Moudry.
Well, let me change the tone a little bit, Andy. I just want to extend the holiday wishes to one and all, residents, commissioners, staff. Thank you for being here. Okay, this morning, first thing this morning, I get a notice that we had an incident at Waverly High School. we had a swatting incident, and our public safety Delta Patrol responded in force, and it turned out to be a hoax. But, you know, in an incident like that, you just don't know. We've all been through the training and everything, and the first thing I thought of is my tax bill. It was the $135 assessment I paid to Delta Patrol. And at that moment, it was worth it. And the second meeting I was to was, I went to the intercounty drain meeting for the Banks drain. Okay, that's in my district, that's my neighborhood. And we had to deal with the clawback, the state clawback. And the people there, the staff there was well-versed. And if that stays true, the clawback stays true, it's gonna cost me another $1,500 in my assessment. So that's real money. That's real money to me. But let me repair that and say, happy holidays, one and all. Thank you all for being here. Thanks.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Yes.
At the risk of being redundant, I agree that we've come a long way this year. I'm been pleasantly surprised that how well we worked together on the big problems that we faced. And the staff made a big, you know, it really helped kind of smooth things over and keep us focused on information. And I guess I'm really I think we didn't have a clue how we were going to deal with the budget this year. And, you know, it worked out. And I mean, we came up with an answer. It's not the best answer, but we were able to resolve it. And I just want to acknowledge Commissioner Mott for your leadership as chair. I think you've been able to kind of keep us kind and focused on the issues and not being partisan to a point that is, you know, unproductive. So I just want to recognize you for that too. But this is my 13th year as a commissioner, and I've always been impressed with staff at every level of the county government that I've dealt with. And I kind of wonder why you even stay. I mean, I understand the love that you have for your work and for the people, and I know how it's personal for everybody. But I just want to reiterate that we have an amazing staff of people in our county government, and just think what they could do if we had even more resources. You know, I mean, I just think that we do a lot with what we have, and I really appreciate it. So, God bless us, everyone, and Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? All right, I'm going to wrap it up. I'll try to make it quick. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank our staff. So I want to point out Melissa Ballard. She's in the back there. Raise your hand, please. And I'll have you know, when we're talking about we have a dedicated staff and they work long hours, she's still working.
Mm-hmm.
That's why her face is all glowing with its laptop. And next to her is Claudine Williams. Claudine has a multitude of tasks. She does a lot of, her role is kind of intergovernmental relationships with the departments. And she also keeps me in track. She tells me, Jim, you got to do this, you got to sign here, you got to do this. And so I appreciate that. Next up, Logan Bailey. He's been here, what, 2 years? Yep. So we should have had, in my opinion, at the county, a communications director at the onset. I mean, it is a position that needs to be filled so that we communicate to the public of what's going on. And we have neglected the public, and to Commissioner Shaver's comment about communication, that is something we're trying to improve on over and over again and to make better. And Logan has done a great job, and his tasks seem to grow and grow. But we appreciate you. Thank you for your work. Ben, Deputy Director, we thank you Having you here is really Connie's decision. And we almost lost you. You were here, what, a week or two, and then you almost were gonna say, they leave. And Connie made it happen. So we're glad you're here, and we're better off as a county for you being here, and your expertise and your wisdom and experience at the state level, and bringing that here, and your other positions helped you, I think, position yourself well for the county. So thank you. And obviously, Controller Selby. I get the opportunity to go into their office and the staff's office quite often, and she said it before, her job and what they do is very stressful, especially when you're understaffed. And I know the community's not going to understand. It's not possible. So we're going to try and relay to you that the stress level in there is high. It's always high, and somehow, day after day, they go through it and they make it, and they make the county better. And so I want to applaud all of you. Thank you very much. Thank you, board. It's very humbling sitting up here, and I thank you that you allow me to do this. And I think we've worked very well together, and we've gone through some pretty tough decisions. And we have stuff that we don't disagree on often, but we're able to be civil about it, and that's part of the process. And so I'm thankful for you guys for that. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. I know for some it's a difficult time. So if you know someone that's kind of struggling, kind of reach out, help out if you can. If that's you, ask for help. We know that not everyone feels excited this time of year. It's kind of stressful for some, but also Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. So with that, we will move on. Is there any unfinished business?
No, sir.
Any old business?
No, sir.
Any new business?
No, sir.
And that brings us to our second limited public comment. If you'd like to address the board, please come on up. And if you could limit it to 3 minutes, please, we appreciate it.
Hi, Board. I'm Chris Morse. Since this was my first time coming to one of these committee meetings, the only thing that I've heard out here is all about Delta Township. There's 16 townships in this Eaton County, and Delta Township's only 33 miles of it. There's 500 and some more miles of county. And I just want to say that. I'm sure you guys know that, but the out counties, just because we couldn't pass a millage don't mean that we ain't there, okay? Just because we didn't sign a contract means we ain't there. That ain't right. So, wish y'all a Merry Christmas.
Jody Pruden. I just want to say that now that the planning and zoning ordinance has an official end date, I would personally encourage the townships to take on their code enforcement. I happen to be I live in the city of Charlotte, and I've seen the difference it's made let's just take on housing. Getting housing in our city is starting to blossom again. I can see that there's been problems with the current code enforcement, thinking that they can make rules to override some of these small townships and villages, and they just make something up and come up with a reason why they can override what the state does and what the village does, even the fire departments. They should have no right to do that. I've supported the county, and I will continue to do that. However, I cannot support that, and I know they are a standalone entity, even though they are part of the county. I would hope that and encourage that you could let them go, like the planning and zoning has, and get that monkey off your back, because that's one of the things that people have problems with all around. I regularly work with the city of Charlotte, heard over and over and over, we can't get anybody to come here because they don't want to deal with code enforcement. And the places that are having their own court enforcement seem to be doing well. So having the fund balance that they have and then increasing their prices so much was uncalled for. And I hope that the townships and municipalities, villages, will see that this is something that they can take on. They can take on reasonably, like a lot of the others have, and get it to where it's balanced out again. I will definitely continue to support the county. I know you've done a lot of really, really hard work. I appreciate what you've done. And I hope that there's more good things to come. And I think that this will be a help to you in the end to get rid of one of the big problems that you have. I just want to say that thank you for all you've had to do this year. It was rough. And I know that it's probably going to get better, but you might have some more rough times. Good luck with that, and have a happy holiday for everybody.
Hello, my name is Teresa Root, and I apologize for interrupting, but I think I might have been part of 10A1 for committee appointment. I just couldn't see the board and couldn't see if I had been on the agenda for appointment to the Eaton County Human Services. Was that something that happened tonight?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. So who do I contact to find out my next step, my next responsibility in meetings?
You can contact.
I'll talk to you.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much.
Good evening, Board. My name is Kelly Dunham. I'm speaking to you tonight on behalf of the Maple Valley School Board as the School Board President and spokesperson for the board. As a gallery member in your meeting tonight, this evening, I would just like to note the parallels between the strong dialogue and even division that happened tonight expressed by this board regarding the state budget appropriation cuts and the frustration that we have experienced as the board and superintendent in our actions with the Eaton County Sheriff. Last school year, Maple Valley received 24 hours per week of support from a dedicated school resource officer. In your November meeting, it was reported out that we had a full-time SRO. And tonight, it's been shared that you don't know what you don't know. And so I think it's important to note that discrepancy for all of you. When that officer accepted another position as the result of downsizing in the Eaton County Sheriff's Office, our superintendent immediately initiated discussions to maintain the SRO services for our rural district located on the outer edges of the county. Despite repeated efforts, the Board of Education has consistently received reports of unproductive conversations with the Eaton County Sheriff, respecting that chain of command and going to him first. This ongoing lack of progress is what led to the resolution that was read to you earlier this evening. We respectfully urge the commissioners to encourage the sheriff to explore cost-neutral solutions that would restore the SRO services and allow the Maple Valley District and really the broader community to experience a positive and consistent law enforcement presence. To end things on a positive note, as a fellow board member who recognizes that lots of public comments are a lot of complaint sessions, I just want to say that I'm thankful for the service that each of you provide, and I really look forward to positive solutions. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Chelsea Campbell, and tonight I'm speaking as a parent of Maple Valley students. I just wanted to say I appreciate all the hard work you guys have had to put in this year. I don't envy you in the least, but I also want to say that it's been claimed that the Maple Valley districts and outlying communities are the reason that the millage didn't pass and those hard decisions had to be made. And if one accepts that premise, then withholding protection from children is irresponsible, and that can't be done. So today, when I saw the post, unfortunately, about Waverly schools, it said that the Sheriff's Department is dedicated to working with all communities and partnering with them. And it didn't say all communities with a current contract with the Eaton County Sheriff's Department. So I would hope that we can come to some resolution that is responsible for all parties and maybe some creative concepts where everybody is represented. And I do thank you for all your time tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Claudine Williams, Controller's Office. I just want to thank you for the resolution this evening to repeal the zoning ordinance that extended it by 1 month. There are a lot of township representatives out in the audience. I would like to thank them for coming out tonight. 6 months seems like a long time, but I can assure you that's going to go really, really fast for them when they're trying to implement all of these changes. So I would just like to thank you for that, and I will be emailing all of the township representatives tomorrow morning, letting them know the decision that was made this evening. It also will get posted in the paper with that effective date of June 30. So in reference to Commissioner Barber's comments, this really has set an end date now. There really is no turning back, and there's no changing your mind after this point. So June 30th is the absolute definite timeframe that you have established now. So just want to make you all aware of that. And additionally, I would like to thank you for the extension for Control Administrator Sobey for another year and giving the county that stabilizing force for yet 1 more year as we prepare for her exit at that time. So thank you.
Thank you.
Me again. I just want to make a comment about some of the things about doing something for the people. My wife started a project 49 years ago, making homemade chocolate candies that has now grown to over $1,000 worth of inputs that goes into that. I talked to my daughters. My wife has passed. Daughters have taken it over. There's candies going to as far away as Oregon, Texas. I can't tell you all the states that they're sending candy to. And we have the third generation now is starting to get into it. The grandkids are starting to work on it. These things just kind of grow and grow. And another thing she started, her mother made cream puffs. That has grown now to, she's got about 4 families that she makes cream puffs for Christmas Day. And now my youngest daughter's taking that all over. So it just keeps growing, and that is the part of Christmas that means the most to me. So it's just, I go up there to stop. I used to go up, and when they made the cream puffs, I would always be the one that would gut the insides out so she could put the cream fills in. And so I was always the gutter, and it's just amazing to watch that. There was 4 gals that come from Chicago to help make the candies. There was 1 gal that come from Oklahoma, 1 that come from New Jersey, all over the states that was friends with my daughter. It was amazing to get different opinions when they're sitting there talking. So thank you. Do a good job. See you guys.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Controller Sobey.
Am I allowed to talk from here,
Yeah.
public comment?
Sure.
There's one thing I forgot to mention. Every year, and we've been doing this for longer than I've been here, it was actually started by my husband. We adopt families from Siren Eden Shelter. We've been doing that, and our employees respond so well to that and adopt the families. We're able to take on a lot of families, a lot of family members. This year, we do it online, and everybody just selects, and they were gone within, it was like the day, I think. Most of them were chosen or picked over. So I just want to say thank you to all the employees, and hopefully that is something that helped the families like it has every year, but I didn't want to forget to bring that up. Thank you.
And so you're taking a donation, but gifts, correct, for certain age groups for that? Is that what you're?
We've closed it. We delivered the
Okay.
gifts on Friday.
Okay,
Yeah.
wonderful.
But that's what we do. We put a list of gifts. They give me a list of the families and then little wishes, that they may have. So we put stuff together that has, their size of clothing and then all the gifts that they want. And it's just a lot of fun. It used to be, back in the day when I first started, we used to actually deliver the gifts to families, but that's not something that you can do anymore, just due to domestic violence, number one, safety and security of families. But it's just an amazing program that they have, and it's just amazing the work that our employees do and how excited they get. And I think last year, I mentioned Brandy, and I know she's not here. I mentioned that she gave 700,000 or was able to collect 700,000. But every year, Brandy does go out of her way to make sure that, you know, if there's anything left on that, you know, list, she's going to get it. But that's really how all of the employees are here. And even in the times that we've struggled and everybody's been really upset or angry, or during COVID, the employees constantly came through for us. So the shelter appreciates it, and I appreciate it very much.
Good. It's a nice program. All right, with that, we have come to our last item before adjourn. I just want to let the board know and staff that we are going to have a little party afterwards, so don't run off. And also, so our next meeting is going to be our organizational meeting in January, and that's going to be on the 5th at 6 p.m. So just make sure you put that on your calendar. So with that, everyone, have a Merry Christmas.